So the Fort began around 8 years ago in 2007. I started it with my business partner, Shukri, Toefy, to pay back student loans originally, and we've kind of never looked back. So we have quite an interesting relationship with Dubai, and we do a lot of work within the ad industry there. We've got a partner office, formerly known as Alchemy Films, now known as Magnet. And yeah, Dubai is quite an interesting place in that in the last 10 to 15 years, it's sort of grown out of nothing. And there's been a lot of direct foreign investment into the place and a lot of investment from within Dubai itself, from the government. But what that means is that there's no real established industry in Dubai. And this is particularly true for the ad industry, right, and for advertising. So we have this kind of interesting situation where a lot of massive multinationals are moving their head office to a location where marketing and communications hasn't really operated in the past. So you couple that with the fact that Dubai prides itself on 100% employment rate, which means it's sort of difficult to be a freelancer in that space, and you have a place that has a lot of resources that's almost forced to have an outsourced model. Now, when it comes to things like animation or heavily technical things, they look at the subcontinent, India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan. But for more nuanced or strategic positioning, they've had to look elsewhere. Now, advertising or the ad industry in film production in Europe and the States is sort of very entrenched in a particular way. But South Africa offers a kind of more agile and nimble look to the region. Especially if you look at the lyrics this year, how Dubai has looped into this MENA region, which is the Middle East and North Africa. We kind of have a similar storytelling way and a similar identity. So we found the fit to be pretty easy. It also, for us, as younger professionals within the industry, it's given us the opportunity to work on bigger brands with larger budgets, something that you wouldn't always get in South Africa, where the industry has a very sort of strong and hierarchical structure. So it's offered us a lot in that respect, and it's offered us a lot of opportunities, or many opportunities, to learn and to grow. And yeah, it's also just been really enjoyable. We had this interesting brief, and that was to bring an audience, or to bring patrons to an island. Okay. Now, the thing you have to understand about the Middle East is that it's a really kind of remarkable place. Many of the Emirate states, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, etc., are quite wealthy. And they all have sort of different characters and different ways that they want to bring foreigners in. Okay, so Dubai is, many people would refer to it as sort of the Las Vegas of the Middle East. It's very open. Anyway, they've built this island. It's called Yas Island. It's quite a remarkable feat in engineering. And on this island, there's a race course, a PGA golf course, an F1 race course, a bunch of other beautiful beaches and interesting things, and then ultimately a shopping mall. Of course, a shopping mall on the island is not exactly the most convenient place to do your monthly groceries. So the brief was, how do you make the shopping mall a destination? So not a place to go buy toothpaste, but a place to visit as a family. And the answer to that brief was, well, to highlight the entire island as an experience, and then this mall at the center of it as an addition to this experience, or a centerpiece, as it were. So the concept that we developed was a race between a parachuter, a skydiver jumping out of a plane circling above the island, a jet skier, a go-kart racer, a BMXer, and a skateboarder. Right? And each one of these participants in this particular race would highlight a different part of the island. Right? It was all very strategic. The skydiver would be diving above the island, showing the geographical location. Jet skier shows the beaches, go-kart shows the F1 course, etc., etc. Ultimately, they all sort of converge in the mall itself, each showing off the most beautiful hero shot of the mall, and then get to some sort of finish line, which is in the middle of the mall. And lo and behold, as they all reveal, or all take off their helmets, as the race has ended, we reveal that it is in fact a family: mom, dad, daughter, son, and granddad. And the hope was that there'd be some humor in that reveal, and then they walk off into the mall itself. So, you know, it was an interesting concept. I had not shot a lot of action before. Usually my style is kind of very poetic and dreamy and very sort of beauty, but it was very enjoyable, yeah. That's the concept.